Grand Hood Rising, Kings and Queens, Trap Witch here in Atlanta, Georgia, coming to bring you a full moon in Pisces reading for September 14th, 2019. I was a little MIA, or was not MIA, my last reading. I went ahead and tried something new with some audio. Thank you for those who copped that. I don't know how I've been feeling about a lot of the moon readings. They might be here, they might be there. With that being said, go ahead if you've been hovering to book your own personal reading. Get at me one-on-one. The best way sometimes to get all your answers, everything clarified, is to follow me on Instagram for my my daily, outputs. And the way that I'm operating in the near future, it's gonna be changing. For those of you who have supported me for a really long time, I just know that the type of healing work that I'm moving into, it's so much deeper than cards. It's so much deeper than the very internet bruja community that helps build myself, but I'm expanding beyond. So moving in a lot of things like sacred sexuality, so sexuality coaching, a lot of things they're doing around business, success. I have a vast amount of areas that I work with people on, and I'm just really excited to be doing some expansion, some networking, some upcoming events soon. So stay posted and follow me on Instagram. For those of you who are new, on Instagram, I am The Trap Witch, TheTrapWitch. For those of you who feel compelled to work with me one-on-one, I offer mentorship, counseling, intuitive readings, a safe space for healing, especially doing shadow work, bridge work. I like to call it bridge work. I consider myself a bridge, a shadow worker, helping people deal with a lot of things subconsciously, things around stigma, things around shame, especially when it comes to feeling worthy in your sexuality, also feeling worthy for what you are worth. That's something that I myself for a really long time, even moving from the world of being in the adult industry into spirituality, at times feeling like, am I of integrity for charging for my work, and why not? The spiritual community is a really hard space to be in. Taking on people's pain and people's healing every day is a very, very grueling occupation. And I so love being there for healers as they find their self-worth as well, and really what type of great life that they deserve to live as we are out here being servants of the community. I'm not going to say we're martyrs, because I don't like healers to call themselves martyrs, because there's a suffering attached to that. And I'm feeling this full moon very heavily. My Venus is in Pisces, and also my North Node is in Pisces. So a lot of my destiny and my work is tied to healing, and a lot of, how I find beauty in my feminine energy in the world is very idealistic. It's very dreamy, but it has to be really grounded. It has to be realistic. And so a lot of times when I'm doing coaching for people, whatever type of business they're in, and especially my budding healers who look up to me and who ask me for guidance and come into sessions, we are not martyrs. We are servants of the community, but we are not slaves. We are worthy of great, good lives for the work that we do. And we deserve reverence, and we deserve respect. So I was kind of mind blown last month a little bit when someone said, "Oh, I'm salty that you charge for this." Girl, $5. And I'm really going to be moving differently. And what we have to understand going forward is, just because we're moving differently, we can't always expect people to move along with us, but we still got to keep it moving. So to anyone who's trying to break stigma, break shame, deal with the shadow, get over martyr syndrome, getting over people pleasing, and living a really bold, authentic life, holler at your girl. I would love to work with you. I would love to help you claim what is yours. Instagram has been one of the best tools of my life over the past couple years. It can help you establish so many connections, so many great networks, and I am so grateful for the healing community that I've been working with. Here, actually, you know, as I'm about to read for you guys, I traded in my Bustelo for the reading, and I'm drinking cacao. I've recently gotten into the medicine that is cacao. I've been working with Inner Light Warrior. That is his name on Instagram. INNERLIGHT Warrior. We've been working with helping me get into cacao, work through some of the blockages I was having around my own heart chakra with the cacao. He does men's work, but he also works with women. He works with the sacred medicine of cacao. And it's just been an amazing heart opener, especially I've only been drinking it solidly for a week straight, but the first 3 days were just so amazing. And so, you know, as you're following me, as you're following my work, I am going to be getting a lot more transparent and even more real, even more raw than I have already been. It's from a completely different place. And I just want to say shout out to all those of you who support me on a regular basis. And if I can support you in your healing, please feel free to book a session. Please don't message me on Instagram and pour your heart out in the DM. I don't read them there. It's just too much. It's like a spiritual attack. The best way is to get at me one-on-one, face-to-face like this. If you're local to my area, we can meet in person. If I'm in your city and I'm offering sessions in your city or an event, you know, come holler at me. But please, the best way to get at me is in a direct session with my undivided attention, where I can give you my all. I can give you proper head space. I can give you proper heart space. And we can really start to tackle, make game plans, make blueprints in order to really get you where you need to go. Okay? I'm very affordable. To some, might be a lot. It's an investment. We have to invest in ourselves as we grow on this planet, because if we don't learn how to invest in ourselves, we can't expect anybody else to meet us and invest in us as we go forward. If you are not willing to give yourself certain things, you cannot expect other people to give you the same. If you won't meet yourself, the level of which you meet yourself is the bar that you set for other people to meet you at. So if people aren't coming at that bar or higher, you gotta change the things around you. You gotta change your inputs. So what I'm gonna do for this reading, full moon in Pisces, Friday the 13th. I think it's on the 13th, the 14th, you know, whatever. It's coming this weekend. I'm gonna read from the Law of Attraction Tarot. I haven't read from this deck in a while. I like this deck. It's a little challenging at times, but I'm up for a challenge. I'm going to clarify it with the Trust Your Vibes deck. And then I might do something else a little different at the end. Who knows? But we're going to work and see what the energy's talking about. What we should keep in mind for this transit. I don't know if any of y'all have been feeling it. Today's Wednesday, the 9/11. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's been a little trying the past couple days. A lot of old tests have been coming up for me, how I deal with things. I've heard from some of my clients too, the way that, you know, there's been some trying ass shit coming up. And so with that being said, I want to dive in. I want to see what Spirit is talking about when it comes to this energy, and go from there. For those of you who are new, who don't know me, my name is Tatiana. I go by the Trap Witch. Aquarius Sun, Leo Rising, Libra Moon, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Sagittarius, Mercury in Aquarius, Lilith in Leo. I don't know what else you need, but tells you, I guess, a little bit about me if you're into that shit. But I am a practitioner also of the tradition of Santeria. I'm crowned Oshun, with my father being Chang'o. I am actually in my year right now, going into my 5th month. It's been challenging being public, being an Yabo, but I feel like I've been handling it quite well. If this is the visibility that Spirit has granted to me during my year to do my work, we're going to make the best of it. So to anyone also too inspired by African traditional religion, has interest in it, has a desire to evolve their life through it, hit me up. I would love to give you some insight, proper guidance, hopefully connect you to some solid practitioners in my network, because it can be challenging. There is a lot of fraudulent activity going on out there, and it's unfortunate. So if I can connect you, I would love to do so. So although I have very new age practices, modern, realistic type things, you know, like very grounded in the, you know, I'm over here also in the traditional world trying to blend the two to administer the best healing to my community possible. So that was a really long introduction. I just feel like I have to formally reintroduce myself. This full moon, I feel like it's about to be game changing. It's about to be game changing, and I'm so here for it. So go ahead, get you a notebook. If anything that I share, you are compelled to share with me on Instagram, please tag me in it. It's best to tag me in a photo, video, a caption, a quote, anything that you felt inspired from this, that you took away from this. Always feel free to share a gem. I love what people really take in hindsight away. So let's get into it. Spirit, we call you in on behalf of the collective, and we ask for the highest good of all those involved with harm to none. We ask for clarity. We ask for clear perception. We ask Legua to open the roads to clear, precise messages at this time. What is it subconsciously, below the surface, beyond the veil, that can facilitate in the collective's highest good? Allow them to overcome barriers, obstacles of the physical, spiritual, emotional, or mental kind, and allow them to continue forward on their journey, making the best decisions to be in alignment with all the good things in life that are due to them. Love, happiness, peace of mind, prosperity, good health of all kinds. I ask for my spirit guides, my Egun, my ancestors, the Orisha, any benevolent spirit, only to facilitate and assisting me to deliver a message for the full moon in Pisces this week, September 13th, 2019. How can we best use the energy to be of servitude, firstly to ourselves, and then secondly, in order to facilitate servitude to others around us? How can we use this energy to the utmost of our potential at this time? Ache. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Where do I want to put these down? Over here. Stretch my legs out a little bit. Stretch my legs out a little bit. Okay. First card, learn. Ooh. There's a lot coming up around our cognitive functions, using our logic. All right. First card we got is learn. And next to it is all is well. Archangel Jeremiel, everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to, with hidden blessings you will soon understand. Let's pull a clarity card in between there. What do I want to use? Let's use this. Depletion, reverse. It's so funny. It is so funny. I literally posted a photo and a caption before I made this video about learning. Okay? And I literally have this book open beside me, and I feel like I feel compelled to just share it with you. This is the Learning to Love book. It's by Victoria White and Shalom Melzadek. Shalom is actually my partnership coach, and the first thing that came to mind is literally what I posted in my caption before I got onto this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and share a part of this chapter 8 with you. It says, a lesson presents itself so that we can know. How you go about knowing is completely up to you. Some of us consciously prefer to go through crash and burn wake-up calls in order to learn, and some of us prefer to take a path where we can, in a healthy manner, peacefully come to know. We attract another from a level in which we are on. When someone comes into your life, you still have to hold on to what you've learned from previous relationships. Your higher self will always guide you if you are willing and open to listening, but when you ignore the guidance, you have now chosen to go on a rogue mission from the original intention. You may still learn, but the process of that learning may not be in alignment with the original intention. The original intention is not tied to suffering through a lesson. If you are in a place where you wish to attract a partner or wish to attract whatever it is that you're wanting to attract, you must be willing to stay true to who you are, the person you've become, in order to create the life and attract the partner or things who is truly for your highest unfolding and growth. This is a path for the disciplined individual who is unwilling to compromise for their growth for the sake of appeasing fleeting and temporary desires. So, it's so funny because, like, I really feel like, you know, with that being said, like, everything is in alignment. All is well. What are you depleted about right now? Because a lot of us, right, we're tired. We're depleted. And the truth of the matter is, I feel like with the all is well card, there's so much that is well. But what are we not leaning into cognitively? What are we not using our logic to do? Because I feel like so many times we lean into the misfortune. And I say that because first two cards I had here was this card, the man, right? With the wheels are turning in his head. And next to it, we had the fortune cookie card and it was reverse. I really feel sometimes our mindset is what takes us into this place of depletion. It takes us where the wheels are turning, the wheels are cranking, right? But they're not, they're grinding. I hear like they're grinding. They're grinding, you're depleted, your mind's overworking, but there's a lot that you can lean into, right? I feel like we have the ability to really lean into our personal power. We have the ability to really use our minds, change our mindset that takes us to new levels. But you have to look at what are you willing to learn from this being tired of the grinding of the gears, getting in your head and leaning into this place of misfortune. What are you willing to learn? Because I feel like we've been here before. And what the book says about not willing to suffer through a lesson anymore. I can tell you one thing. Some people, and this sounds bad, but some people choose to suffer. Up until a few weeks ago, I'm one of them people too. There are times, this is something I want to teach you. In Santeria, they teach us something. The most important thing that you have in Santeria is your Ori. Your Ori is right here, at the top of your head. It's your consciousness. This is the thing that will take you the highest in your life. In our faith, even above, higher than any Orisha can take you. Your own consciousness can take you higher than any Orisha. But we're also taught that there's a form of an Eshu or an Elegua that sits on the back of our neck every day. And it pushes our head down. Pushes our head down into shame. Pushes us into a place where, you know, when our head's down, we're feeling sorry for ourselves. And every day you can choose to keep your head up and keep your Ori close to God, or you can put your head down in shame. You could put your head down in pity. You could put your head down in depletion. And you could choose to suffer. Or you can learn that you don't have to. Anytime there's a moment where we're allowing our mind to take us to a place of suffering, although it's important for us to honor why we're having those thoughts, it's also important to honor the fact that we have the capability to take ourselves away from those thoughts as well. Because I want to say one of the most depleting ass things we also have in this life, that's also the best thing we have in our life, is this. So we can either learn what to do with this, or we could continue to allow it to deplete us. But there's so much fortune in this. But I also feel like so many of us are looking for the fortune in other places. That's why we're still depleted. Because when you're constantly looking for the fortune outside of you, and it's not being appeased, or it's not being fulfilled the way that you think it should, you go to this place of suffering. Let's pull a clarity card on top of that. Maiden Beauty. Maiden Mother Crone. Maiden, first phase of feminine energy in the goddess. The ability to produce, the ability of sexual energy, the ability of power. What do you have the ability to produce? What do you have the ability to conceive? What power do you have? And what beauty can be brought through your thoughts, through the power to control your thoughts, through the power to produce better thoughts. There's a lot that you can learn also through depletion. Sitting down and asking yourself, how do you take yourself back to a higher altitude? How do you overcome this? And I think a lot of us just aren't sitting down and learning ourselves and studying ourselves to realize that there's so much that is well, but we're not gathering the thoughts. We're not asking how we can already take our personal power, try to comprehend what's going on, what's depleting us, how we're going to overcome, and how we're going to put these pieces together. I say all that because how do we overcome? Higher altitude, overcoming the hills. He's fearless. He's fearless in how he's jumping over this ice, this hill, this slope. Empress card. This is the Empress card in this deck, reverse. But she's sitting there. She's writing a list. She's got a scepter there. Magic. Then the last card there was puzzle. The last solid piece. A lot of us are at this place where we are depleted. We're grinding our gears. And this is a lesson right now that it's really how we look at it. What have you been overthinking about? What have you been grinding your gears about? What have you been allowing to just take you to this place within your mind that you're just like, oh my God, I'm suffering. Why haven't you fucking learned yet? Why? Mother Regeneration reverse, Sorceress reverse, and then this card fell out. And then of course it would fall down onto the ground. Ugh. Joy. No, pleasure, upright. A lot of this is just going to how do we regenerate ourselves? How do we give back to ourselves to take care of ourselves? How do we keep our magic potent, regenerating? How do we find pleasure? Look, this is not a hardcore reading at all by any means. This is not that deep. I feel like a lot of us have been here. Or maybe some of us now are at a point where we're really ready to learn and not suffer and be depleted anymore. But the whole key point is looking at what is well. What are you capable of? Where do you have power? Where can you take pleasure? How can you focus your attention onto things that are going to be regenerating you? Look, I'll be honest as hell. I did not want to do the fucking reading last month. And I found a new way to regenerate myself. And I'll be quite honest, if in the future this is depleting me, I'll have to learn a new way to facilitate it. It's as simple as that. Sometimes we really have to look at what is good, what is well, what do we have the power to do? We have the power to do so many other things, look at things so many other ways. So how are we going to do that? Girl, this reading is really not that complicated, that deep. I'm going to do something new today. We're going to pull a card from the Inner Child deck, a Fairy Tale Tarot. What's important for them to know in regards to this? The Wizard. All of this is really pointing to the magic that you have capable. Like, a lot of masculine energy also coming up too. It's like, you have the power to create the beauty, the wellness, all the things that you desire, the pleasure, the joy. Whatever it is that you want to create, you have to ask yourself, how? Feminine energy, feelings, creativity, masculine energy, how? Action, integrity, authenticity. How am I going to do it? Honestly, truly. So the Wizard, I love how he's like looking at us like, bling bow. You know you got the answers, baby. Let's see what the Wizard's talking about. This is such a little cute deck. I don't use it often. I don't use it for readings. I use it only for special people in my life. The Wizard, page 61. Well, clearly y'all are special people in my life today, right? Because I'm going to use it for y'all. I just feel like switching shit up. The Wizard. In traditional tarot decks, the fifth card of the major arcana is known as the Pope, often seen as a rather rigid ruler of the church and a cold figure anchoring Christian teachings on our planet. He possesses the mysterious keys to heaven and earth. In the 20th century, some tarot decks designers renamed the figure. The Hierophant, connecting this being with the high priests of Egypt and other ancient cultures who were specifically and rigorously trained to be initiators for disciples on the spiritual path. Many esoteric writers have pointed to a mysterious Hierophant who initiated neophytes in the Great Pyramid thousands of years ago. Plato and even Jesus, in some accounts, are said to have experienced this magical event. In Inner Child cards, the archetype has become the Wizard, who is not only an initiator and Hierophant, but a kind, sensitive, and compassionate teacher as well. From our childhoods, we may associate various images with this figure. There is the Wizard of Oz, an imposter who hides behind the curtain. There is a sorcerer in whose chambers Mickey Mouse labors in Walt Disney's Fantasia. Then, of course, there is Merlin, guide and spiritual teacher to the young King Arthur. However, the figure who best exemplifies the qualities of the Wizard in this deck is the Wizard Gandalf of J.R.R. Tolkien's epic story, The Lord of the Rings, composed in 3 volumes entitled The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. This trilogy has thrilled children and adults for several decades now. It is a thoroughly magical and mesmerizing tale that introduces us to the inhabitants of the Middle Earth, hobbits, dwarves, elves, and entry beings, the 9 Nazgul or Black Riders, the Orc demons, the Palantiri, crystal globes of far-seeing stones, serpents, monsters, the Wizard Gandalf, the Dark Lord, Soltron, and many more. While the entire plot is too long and complex to summarize here, because I'm just like, Jesus God, like this is long. The main story revolves around the need to destroy the one ring that can insidiously control the owner and that also holds power over the other rings devised to keep dwarves, humans, and elves under the spell of Sauron. Frodo, a beloved hobbit, becomes the primary ring bearer, and he and his many companions join in a fellowship to return the ring to the Shadowlands of Mordor, where it can be destroyed, eliminating the malevolent power of the ring on life in Middle-earth. Gandalf, with his Staff of Wisdom, the sword Glamring, and the horse Shadowfox, plays the part of wizard, magician, spiritual teacher, and guardians of Frodo and the hobbits. He also is the foil and nemesis to Sauron. Gandalf, an emissionary of the divine consciousness overlighting Middle-earth, warns Frodo, representing the child spirit on the journey of life, about the nefarious power contained within one ring. He tells Frodo it can corrupt and entice the wearer and eventually warp the bearer's personality until it becomes a vehicle for and tool of the Dark Lord Sauron. The relationship between Frodo and Gandalf is a clear example of the modern rapport between student and master, child and wise elder. One of the main lessons that Frodo learns is that true spiritual power is not within the one ring, but within the ring of fellowship. One circle of friends, loved ones, and companions of the path of life. Thus, the Lord of the Rings speaks on the higher meaning of group consciousness and the beauty of community life, in which could be a new age on the horizon for humanity. When this card appears in your reading, a spiritual teacher is on the scene. Who is inspiring you at this time? Is there a new field of study to explore? See the realms of music, art, literature, philosophy, religion, history, and nature as pathways to higher knowledge. Build a bridge between the child within that seeks answers and the higher self that continuously within that seeks an answer to the higher self that continually offers jewels and answers, and the higher self. Why am I repeating this over? Look, I'm slightly dyslexic, y'all. Okay, let me repeat it. See the realms of music, art, literature, philosophy, religion, history, and nature as pathways to higher knowledge. Build a bridge between the child within that seeks answers and the higher self that continuously offers jewels of enlightenment through dreams, visions, promptings, and intuitive flashes. Steer clear of controlling others for your own purposes. Most of all, with your visualization skills, based on the development of your third eye or ajna center, see your life linked with a fellowship of like-minded souls, your true ring of power in the world. So the traditional tarot archetype, the Hierophant. Damn, that was long as fuck. Long story short, you want to find beauty in your life right now? What do you want to learn? You got to lean into things that's going to replenish you, to renew you. New teachings, new ways to improve your mind. Whether through that's a workshop, esoteric information, a mentor, a counselor, whatever the fuck you are depleted about, there is an answer by knowing that all is well. Why is all is well? Because there's an answer out there for you. If it's not within and you can't pull it out within, yes, on the outside of you, there might be somebody or something that is able to replenish you. But you have to have the desire to make the plans and figure out how you're going to learn to do so. You know what's funny? Not this last reading, but the reading before. I want to feel like the full moon before. A lot about teaching and learning came up too. So I feel like this is a bit redundant. 2 months in a row around the full moons is saying, learn some new shit. Especially about the way that you think. Find things that are going to replenish your mind. Because your mind is the most powerful tool you have here. And if your mindset is not good, it's going to deplete you. Stay around like-minded folks or people who can expand your mind to the things that you're wanting to learn about. But just know, no matter what you're going through right now, all is still well. You got to keep telling yourself, all is still well. All is still well in the world. No matter if the rainforest is burning down, the waters are rising, there is still ways to find within your own head a personal paradise. Even though it feels like we're living in hell, we have to keep saying all is well. You can't lose your mind about it. If you need support, if you're somebody who feels like they're getting depleted, their emotions are getting depleted by all that's going on in the world, find a support group. Find somebody who can teach you how to bring your thoughts back into alignment so you are not out here wasting a lot of energy. It's great. We have beautiful things. There's a lot of things that we can have passion and desire and interest about. But you have to ask yourself how much of you can help, how much of you can control. You know, people ask me all the time how I feel about certain things, right, going on in the world. And I always tell them, I know my place. There's certain front lines I'm not called to. Not because I don't care. It's because that's not my department. So I learn things that I can help in my lane, in my department, in my expertise. But I cannot drive myself crazy and grind my gears and put my minds into a place of misfortune when there is still so much that is so well in the world. Okay? let's pull from John Maxwell, Insights on Leadership. A lot of this is leaning into community, y'all. Nothing of significance was ever achieved by an individual acting alone. Look below the surface and you will find that all seemingly solo acts are really team efforts. Have you ever met a successful person who has not had support or guidance from another person? One of the most important factors to success is teamwork. Without a team, leaders rely solely on themselves and their own skills. There's less room for growth, innovation, and collaboration. Whatever y'all need help on learning to keep your mind right this season, do it. Whether it's a book, whether it's another person, whether it's a community, whether it's a support group. Know that what you're going through, you don't have to go at it alone. I know that I've been mentioning a lot of people on my page, and even at the beginning of this, like my homie, like Inner Light Warrior, I've been working with Shalom in these books. And, you know, because although I'm a healer, healers need healing too. You know, replenishment. When I'm depleted, I have to remember going back to a place of learning to take me back to all is well. So, regeneration, upping our energy, upping our power through community, teamwork, and learning. When we're feeling in a place of misfortune, how do we re-up ourselves, our spiritual bag, our mental bag, our emotional bag? By finding the prosperity in other places or within ourselves, right? And again, you're not always going to be able to lean into yourself. Sometimes you will need someone to connect you to that higher self, to teach you. Not even just teach you, but help you learn something. You know, I'm trying to get away from just, you know, people being like, you know, talking to spiritual teachers. It's more about sharing the wealth, sharing the fortune. So this Pisces full moon, what are you depleted about? Is it going to take some time to sit down with yourself and figure it out? And if you can't figure it out, who are you going to call for help? Some of y'all can call the Trap Witch. Some of y'all can message me if you would like that. Or if there's somebody that you feel drawn to that can help you, reach out for help. Make that investment. Whether it's a retreat, whether it's counseling, whether it's whatever have you. Get the help and learn something new. There's too much wellness in the world for you not to be well. There's so much. And so once you dig into that, you're going to realize, damn, there were so many hidden blessings. Maybe I didn't understand before, but now I understand now. Actually, I don't feel compelled to go on too much longer, y'all. This is not that deep. It's really not that deep. Get support. Community, support, learning. That's where it's at. 2 months in a row, similar messages. Continue to expand, especially your mind, your consciousness. This is the most important thing you have throughout this journey, because this connects so much of our health. This controls a lot of our physical health as well. Because if this is fucked up, it fucks with all of our chakras. This motherfucker be fucked up, it fucks up everything. Okay, y'all. With that being said, www.thetrapwitch.com, or follow me on Instagram, thetrapwitch. I'm okay with this reading. It's fine. It's not that deep. Nothing too emotional, nothing too profound, nothing too prophetic. And sometimes we just need that simple confirmation. All right? Love and light to y'all, and looking forward to working with some of you soon, seeing some of you guys in person at some upcoming things, and also just face-to-face on whatever you are needing guidance, what are you needing to learn about, anything that you see on my Instagram that you see me posting about that you feel compelled, you feel connected to, and you want to learn more, want to expand more, sexuality, business, self-worth, breaking your stigma, working through the shadow work, whatever have you, hit me up. You are loved, and happy full moon in Pisces, y'all.